Hey guys, Frank here, your virtual aviation aviator, also known as Sim Captain White, and of course, you can call me Captain. All right, so anyway, we're doing a flight today, and I am going to give Shirley, my first officer, an opportunity to brief you guys all about the flight. So go ahead, Shirley, and
Shirley here.
tell people what brief them on. Get
Good
them caught
evening.
up for me.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Shirley, first officer on Delta 11CE6, a 737-800 departing Raleigh-Durham for JFK. We're loaded with 169 passengers and 8 crew, carrying 21,298 pounds of fuel, including an hour reserve. Flight time today is 1:13, cruising at FL 350. We'll be departing runway 23 right on the Harry for departure. Captain White has everything preflighted, and we're about ready for pushback. Back to you, Captain.
Thank you, Shirley. That was an awesome brief. Okay, so
Anytime, Captain.
yeah, I think all we need to do is at this point is call for that pushback truck. Yep. So let's do that now. Now I used to have better pushback installed, but it started giving me trouble, and I uninstalled it, and I've just been using X-Plane's default pushback, which seems to work, but it only tends to give me a straight pushback, even if I select nose to the left or nose to the right. And of course, anybody who uses it knows that you have to wait varying amounts of time before the pushback tractor arrives. So that's what we're waiting on now. And sometimes you can actually see it. Now see one pushback tractor, but that's not the one that we're waiting on. The one that we'll probably get is probably up under the building in most of these airports, below the waiting areas or garage type space for various vehicles and operations. So yeah, we should be getting that pushback truck any moment. So while we're waiting on the pushback truck, we might as well brief the weather with our first officer. So what's the current weather?
Would you... Let me get that METAR for you, Captain. RDU weather. Few clouds at 1,000, scattered towering cumulus at 2,700, broken layers at 10,000 and 25,000, calm winds, visibility 10 miles, temperature 25, dew point 24, altimeter 2991. Recent thunderstorms ended at 31 past the hour, with CB's distant northeast through south.
Thank you. And
Roger, Captain. With thunderstorms recently moved through and that tight dew point spread, we should keep an eye on those TCUs to the east and southeast during departure. Altimeter is 2991.
absolutely. The other thing that we can do while we are waiting on the pushback tractor is to get our clearance, which normally I should have
Ready to
gotten
monitor while you...
already.
Standing by to copy clearance delivery with you, Captain. Would you like me to tune COM1 to RDU clearance on 118.3?
You can tune COM2 to clearance. you can tune COM 2 to clearance. That's generally what I use.
Commencing pushback.
Okay.
Release parking brake.
All right.
Roger. Tuning COM2 to RDU clearance delivery on 118.3.
Pushback trailers here, and they're waiting on us to release the parking brake.
Roger. Parking brake released. Standing by to copy clearance on KOM2 once we start our push.
Raleigh clearance, Delta 1166 is ready to copy our clearance to JFK.
Raleigh to New York City. My name is Erica and I am your lead flight attendant today. Joining me in the cabin are my fellow crew members, James, Sarah and Michael. We are here to ensure you have a comfortable and safe flight. We are currently pushing back from the gate, and our estimated flight time is approximately 1 hour and 13 minutes. Before we take off, I would like to go over some important safety information.
Now, I did
First,
that completely
please ensure that your
backwards.
seatbelt is
Generally, I get
fastened. To fasten your seatbelt, insert the metal tip
way
into the
before I
buckle
push
until
back.
you hear a click. To release it, lift the buckle. Please keep your seatbelt fastened whenever you're seated, as we may experience turbulence during the flight. In the unlikely event that we lose cabin pressure, oxygen masks will drop down from the panel above you. To use the mask, pull it towards you to start the flow of oxygen. Place it over your nose and mouth, securing it with the elastic band. Remember to put your mask on first before assisting others. In case of an emergency evacuation, please leave your luggage on board. Your safety is our priority. This Boeing...
Raleigh clearance, Delta 1166 would like to pick up our clearance to JFK.
keeping in mind that it may be behind you. Lastly, we will be coming around shortly with items from the Delta shop after our meal service. Thank you for your attention, and we wish you a pleasant flight. Captain White, the cabin is ready for departure.
Thank you, Erica.
Okay, Captain.
Try this call again. Raleigh clearance, radio check.
Delta 1166, Raleigh clearance, loud and clear.
Raleigh clearance, Delta 1166 would like to pick up our clearance to JFK.
Give me 1 second for that clearance.
Okay, so I'm waiting on ATC to approve the clearance. I have
Delta 1166, cleared to Kennedy via the Herrick 4 departure. Dennis filed. Climb and maintain 2000. Expect flight level 35010 minutes after departure. Departure on 124.905 squawk 6145. Expect runway 23 right.
Okay. Cleared to JFK via the Harry Ford departure, Dennis filed. Climb and maintain 2000. Expect flight level 35010 10 minutes after departure. Departure frequency 124.905. Squawk 6145. Expect runway 23 right. Delta 1166. Okay, did she hear me? Now let me pull up the app so that I can see if she heard me, because if she did, it would echo back in writing what I just said. Let's see, attention. Okay, so Nope, it didn't hear me. All right. When this happens, then I realized the best way to fix it is to just restart the application, the say intentions application. So it shouldn't take it long. And I'm gonna leave that up for a minute. All right, so now it just reconnected. All right, and I got my paper here, and I'm gonna read back that clearance again. Clear it to JFK via the Harry 4 departure, then is filed. Climb and maintain 2000, expect 350, 10 minutes after departure. Departure frequency on 124.95, squawk 6145, expect runway 23, right, Delta 1166.
Delta 1166, readback correct?
Okay, so this I generally keep minimized or muted because I don't want to see, I don't want to read off stuff. I actually want to copy it and create the immersion. All right, now for you guys, if you
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome aboard Delta Airlines.
it's okay to read it.
Flight
until you get
1166
acclimated.
departing from Raleigh to New York City. My name is Erica and I am your lead flight attendant today.
Let's get our
Joining
engine
me
started.
in the cabin are my fellow crew members, James, Sarah and Michael. Please take your seats according to your boarding passes and stow your hand luggage in the overhead bins or under the seats in front
I'm
of you.
missing a lot of stuff. I
If
really
you need
should've
any assistance, feel free to reach out to any of our crew members. Thank you for choosing Delta Airlines and we hope you have a pleasant flight.
So I usually go through this flow 3 times, but today I'm just, looks like I completely missed the flow. And this is kind of the way that I do it. Okay. Yeah, on now. Got my engines running. Are they? No, I'm getting ready to start the engines. I am not hearing some stuff, like my switches. All right, never fails. Okay. All right, so lights look good. Start number 2 first. Got N2 rotation. Start valve is open. N2 25%. Let's introduce fuel. Got fuel flow and oil pressure is coming up. And of course, we do that for each engine. She should cut out at 55 N2. And I'm gonna go ahead and start engine number 1. Got N2 rotation. Finish with ground services. %, N2, introduce fuel. Got positive fuel flow, oil pressures coming up. And start valve is okay. I had a throttle open when I started the engine. If I hadn't touched it, it would have fired on up. I'm gonna have to relight engine number 1. I need to let it settle below 25. Okay. Cut off the fuel. All right. Start the igniter and we'll start the process.
Mr. 1198, if you're ready to roll. Yeah, we'll be ready. Right on. Mr. 1198, monitor sound 135.3 up to this.
Into rotation, it is coming up. 25 N2, introduce fuel. Positive fuel flow, oil pressure is coming up. And my throttle's at idle detent. All right, 55 N2, cut out, and engines are stabilizing. All right, and let's start the generator. Sweet. All right, and we are on Gen 1. It's looking good. Gen 2 is looking good. All right, good stuff. Yeah, so, yeah. All right, and let's go through this flow again. Yaw dampers on, fuel pumps are on. Cabin utilities and IFE passenger seat AC is on. Seatbelt signs are on, emergency light is on. Cabin call, okay. And let's go ahead and turn our probes on. And no icing needed. Electric hydraulics are all on. And the circulating fans are on. Let's turn the packs back on. Close the, set the isolation valve to auto. And make sure that the engine packs are set to on also, and the APU bleed, the engine bleeds set to on, and the APU bleeds set to off. Cruising altitude is 350. Our landing altitude is 13 feet, so we just keep that set at 0. And we are happy. Strokes are steady, and since we've at this point we can go ahead and change them to the beacon setting. Actually, that turned on the wing strobes. That's not what I wanted. I want the anti-collision, which mimics the beacon. Yep, that's what I want. Okay, good stuff. And I should have the anti-collision on when I call for pushback. That's when I want to turn the anti-collision on. All right, Mode control panel looks okay, except for we're clear at 2,000 feet. So get that set up. All right, good stuff. And yeah, let's do our before taxi checks and get out of here. All right, so we're gonna pop our engine parameters up in the upper DU and use the lower DU to monitor our flight checks to the right, up, elevator down, rudder to the left, rudder to the right, and I'm gonna do the rudder test again. Okay, that looks good. Yeah, happy. All right. And what we got down here? Let's get some lights on this. And at this point, we can go ahead and make sure we got our squawk code in 6145. I usually try to get that tuned right after I get the clearance, but I didn't this time. 6145. And I'm gonna go ahead and, since I'm not at the gate, I'm gonna go ahead and turn on the RATA Torah, and we are ready to taxi. Oh yeah, one more thing, flaps 5. Okay. All right, so let's look at our overhead panel, make sure all our doors indicate close. And let's finish up our pre-taxi. We did that, okay. And just go to continuous. You can go off. Taxi light can come on. There we go. And all the rest of the stuff, like the checks, the APU checks and all that, I had already done. So yeah. All right, let's get taxi. Let's get permission to taxi. And 121.7 is the frequency. Okay, so let me call Raleigh ground, Delta 1166, ready to taxi. That was simple.
Delta 1166, you're on the clearance frequency. Please contact ground on 121.9er for taxi instructions.
You know what? I changed my radio to the right frequency, but didn't change the mic. Change it to the ground frequency, disregard Delta 1166. So I want to change that to 1, and that should do it. Yeah, see, I was on that frequency. Yeah, so, yeah. Okay. Raleigh clearance, Delta 1166, ready to taxi. Is it 121.7 or 121.9? I think it's 121.9. Oh man. So let's get this set 0.9. Raleigh clearance, Delta 1166, ready to taxi. I called it clearance. Correction, Raleigh ground. And one of the things I did a flight earlier and did all of this stuff and redo it. Delta 1166, ready to taxi.
Foundation 3 Mike Charlie, monitor tower, 135.3 unit.
121.9, com 1.
KRDU 30 monitor tower, 135.3 unit.
121.9, com 1. Delta, Raleigh ground, radio check.
Delta 1166, I hear you.
Raleigh ground, Delta 1166, we're ready to taxi.
Delta 1166, you're on the clearance frequency. Please contact ground on 121.9er for taxi instructions.
Roger, 121.9er. Now, why is it that this radio is superseding this radio? I don't know. I have to keep that in mind to make sure that I change both of them. Raleigh ground, Delta 1166, good evening. We're ready to taxi. Am I missing something, guys? All right, so let's pull up the app. Something that I try not to do. Raleigh ground, Delta 1166 is ready to taxi. Okay, so they are not hearing me now. All right, let's do this. What I'm gonna do, I'm gonna look at my radios. Okay, all right. I'm gonna look at my radios and see if anything changes when I use the app to tune the radios. All right, so let's get the app back. So I'm going to use the app by clicking on this, and it's going to tune the radio for me. I got COM1 active, a VHF1 on both sides, and I got the right frequency in. So I don't understand why I'm not getting any ground. Alright, so what that did is just made everything COM1. Raleigh ground, Delta 1166, ready to taxi.
Delta 1166, Raleigh ground, runway 23 right, taxi via Alpha Bravo 1 Charlie.
Taxi via Bravo. Taxi via Alpha Bravo 1 Charlie. That does not make sense for Raleigh. Okay, so something is not operating the way it should, so I'm gonna close the app down. Right, close it down, then I'm gonna reopen it because there's no way you can taxi Alpha Bravo at Raleigh without a connecting runway, because Alpha and Bravo taxiways run parallel, they do not intersect. Let's see intentions. these are some of the snafus that we sometimes get with AI systems. So, so none of them are perfect. My co-pilot can attest to that. I keep saying co-pilot. My first officer can attest to that. Ain't that right, Shirley?
Captain, I noticed we've had some radio communication challenges. You're right about Alpha and Bravo at RDU. They're parallel taxiways. Would you like me to help monitor ground frequency while you sort out the routing? And yes, first officer is the correct term. Though I don't mind co-pilot.
Yeah, I know you don't, but I'm using first officer because if anybody's watching this recording, then they too will want to use first officer and not the term co-pilot unless they are, you know, in a GA aircraft where co-pilot is the general nomenclature. Anyway, let's try getting clearance again.
Roger that, Captain. Good teaching point about first officer versus co-pilot terminology in airline operations. I'm monitoring ground on 121.9 whenever you're ready to request taxi to 23R.
Raleigh ground, Delta 1166, request taxi, ready to taxi.
Delta 1166, taxi to runway 23 right via Foxtrot Bravo 9er.
Taxi to runway 23 right via Foxtrot Bravo 9er, Delta 1166. That's better. Now, if this wasn't my home airport, if I didn't know this airport and got those instructions, then I would have gotten lost. Okay, so we got our taxi lights on and we got our brakes set. And our brakes are released. We are ready to taxi. Get some breakaway thrust going here. Now, you may have noticed that I'm using only my right engine to taxi. And the reason that I do that is because I've sat there all that time on the APU sucking fuel out of the left engine, so using the right engine to taxi is just my little way of helping helping to balance out things. And of course, I won't use nearly as much fuel taxiing as I use with the APU, but every little bit help. If you look at the fuel, you'll see I got fuel in the center tank, so I need to turn my center pumps on. And I'm always sucking fuel out of the center tank first, but even still, I've got 200 pounds more fuel in my right tank than I do my left tank. All right, so let me turn these pumps on. Okay. And taxiing is in the sim is something that really, for me, it's something I really have to focus on. Because invariably, if I say, well, you know, let me, while I'm taxiing, let me look down here and check my RATO and I look up, usually I'm way off the yellow brick road, so I will try to treat taxiing almost as if I'm flying with the same, what word am I looking for? With the same, I can't think of the word, with the same dedication, the same responsibility. You know what, you guys know what I'm trying to say, if I can't think of it. All right, so let's see where we at now. Let's check our speed, 19 knots, ground speed, that's not too bad. And even now I'm trying to look over at a different screen and found myself tracking away from where I wanted to go. Now, the turns should be made at or below 10 knots. And I've seen times when I've made turns at 40, probably 30 knots, because at least in the sim, I don't have that feeling of that centrifugal force and it doesn't lean too much. But let me go ahead and pull the power back so I can make this left turn.
And we'll expect to follow FedEx and Tower 19 for passing position and one guy to 7.
I'm so used to doing stuff all myself. A lot of stuff that I've done in this flight, I probably could have had my first officer do, like set transponder code. I think.
Yes, Captain, I can assist with radios, transponder codes, and checklists. Would you like me to help with the before takeoff checklist once we reach the runway? And you're right about keeping taxi speeds in check, especially in these turns.
Yep, and yeah, I can have you help me with the checklist.
Roger, Captain. We're approaching runway 23 right. When you're ready, I'll run through the before takeoff checklist with you. Want me to set the landing lights as well?
Once I get takeoff clearance, yes, but let's wait till I get takeoff clearance before we set the landing lights, okay?
Roger. Captain, we'll wait for takeoff clearance before setting landing lights. I see we're about 430 feet from the departure end of 23R. Would you like me to tune departure frequency 2495 and QM2 standby now?
Yes, you know what, I'm doing that, and I just said I could have you do that. Yeah, I've got tower on active, and if you'll put the departure frequency in standby, that would be awesome.
Roger. Setting to...
If it works, then you'll see this miraculously go to 124.95. Okay, try it again, Shirley. It didn't change.
Let me try setting departure 12495 and KM2 standby again. Captain, I see we're holding short of 23R. Would you like me to monitor tower frequency while you complete the turn onto the runway?
Okay, looks like I'm gonna have to put that frequency in because it didn't take when you tried it. And sometimes...
Roger, Captain.
Yeah.
I see we're 420 feet from departure end of 23R, holding short. Once you're ready for the before takeoff checklist, just let me know. I'll monitor tower while you input that departure frequency.
Okay, so let's go ahead and run the, well, let me get the takeoff clearance first. Raleigh Tower, Delta 1166, holding short, runway 23 right, ready to depart.
Delta 1166, contact tower on 119.3 for departure clearance.
Something's going on with the radios, because as you can see, I'm on 119.3. Don't know what's going on, but I'm going to go ahead and set COM 2 to 119.3 also. Shirley, can you set COM 2 to 119.3?
Let me try setting QM2 to 119.3. Standing by, Captain. I notice we may be having some radio communication issues. I'll keep monitoring while you sort it out.
Yeah, it looks like I'm gonna have to do COM, set the radio myself.
Roger, Captain. I see we're holding short of 23R, flaps at 5, taxi lights on. Once you get the radio sorted, I'm ready to run the before takeoff checklist with you. Just let me know when you're ready.
Let's swap that in. Okay. So, COM 1 is 119.3. COM 2 is 119.3. And on COM 1 standby, I want 124.95. Okay, let's try to get takeoff clearance again. Raleigh Tower, Delta 1166, ready to depart. Now, they shouldn't give me clearance because I didn't tell them what runway I was at.
Delta 1166, Raleigh Tower, runway 23 right, winds 150 at 5. Fly runway heading, cleared for takeoff.
Clear for takeoff, fly runway heading, runway 23 right, Delta 1166. Right, so I'm gonna fly runway heading, so go ahead and engage that. And we were clear for takeoff. Shirley, can you turn on the landing lights? This is a three-way switch, and I know from experience you can't manipulate three ways. So I got them. All right. And what is
Roger.
going at before taxi checklist? TARA is confirmed. Flaps 5. Before takeoff checklist is complete.
Before takeoff checklist, flight controls, checked instruments and radios, set heading bucket runway, heading transponder, set 6145, LT mode flaps, set 5 cabin, notified takeoff briefing, complete toga auto throttle, armed captain checklist complete, we're cleared for takeoff runway 23 right, fly runway heading. I'll monitor tower and help with the frequency change to departure 1 and 24951 call.
Listen to you. Getting all professional on me.
Chuckles. Just trying to keep it proper for the recording, Captain. But you're right, I can loosen up a bit. We're lined up and ready to roll on 23R whenever you are. I'll keep it real, but professional.
All right, so let's give it throttle and let our engine stabilize. Turn on the auto throttle and start the clock.
Clock started, auto throttle armed. N1's looking stable at about 68-69%. Your call for takeoff, Power Captain.
Toga set, and we're rolling.
V1, rotate, positive rate.
Data knots. Rotate. Gear up, please. Gear up, please, Shirley.
Gear up.
Delta 1166, contact departure.
So for anyone who's watching this video, I just got a note from the developer of Shirley saying that we are going to that we can work on the Zibo profile so that Shirley can better manipulate the plane. All right, fly runway ahead.
Roger, Captain. Maintaining runway heading, positive rate. I'll monitor for the departure frequency change.
And we won't.
Those TCUs we
clear it to 2,000. So. No.
Captain, we're
Yeah, we blew through our
Captain,
clearance.
we're passing. Captain, we're well past our 2,000-foot altitude restriction. Recommend descending back to 2,000 and contacting departure on a 2495. Want me to help get us back to profile?
Yeah, we're descending back. Raleigh departure.
Roger.
Delta 1166 descending to 2,000 on runway heading.
Standing by with you on descent back to 2,000.
Delta 1166, roger, descend and maintain 2,000.
Flight level 350 in about 10 minutes. I'll monitor for
Descend
departure
and
instructions.
maintain 2,000 Delta 1166. Okay, so they got me holding at 2,000. Auto throttles got my speed set at 230. And I'm on runway heading. All right. So that's my story.
Roger, Captain,
and I'm
maintaining.
sticking to it. All right. So at this point, what I want to do is clean up the aircraft and continuous can come off. RTA, RTO, and skid can go off. Flaps already up. Flaps were not already up, but they're coming up now. Transit. Fly. And Avatar does give me a way to kind of keep a feeling, to keep some situational awareness using the map feature. Now, looks like we're heading southwest, and we are going to JFK, which is literally in the opposite direction. So departure. Raleigh departure, Delta 1166, established on runway heading at 2000, destination JFK.
Delta 1166, roger, maintain 2000, destination JFK noted.
Maybe they have a reason for vectoring me out so I can actually turn on my weather radar. Maybe I can see some, the reason. It may take it a while to sweep back and forth before I can actually get in the returns. Native weather radar is coming to explain, and in weather like this you expect to get a lot of ground returns, so once the new radar come online we'll be able to see those ground returns, which honestly make the radar part of the read. Alright. So I am going to slow down.
Roger, Captain. We're level at 2000. Runway heading. I see those TCUs from earlier were to our east, so ATC might be keeping us west initially. I'll keep monitoring departure for our turn to JFK. They'll probably want us turning left eventually to join our filed route. Speed coming back now.
1521 and Alpha hold short for like 211.
Yeah, I was hoping I might see something on the radar that would indicate why they have us headed southwest as opposed to northeast.
Looks like we've lost connection to the sim, Captain. Once it's back up, I can help monitor for weather and our eventual turn. Would you like me to check the latest METAR for any weather between us and JFK?
No, I don't think that's gonna help, at least not weather at ground level. Weather aloft would be awesome, but I don't know if we can do weather aloft.
No, Captain. I can only get METARs for airports. I can't check weather aloft or en route conditions. You're right that surface observations won't tell us much about what ATC is seeing up here. Once we're reconnected to the sim, I'll help monitor for our turn clearance.
Should still be connected to the sim.
Ah, yes. I see we are connected. Currently at 2075 MSL, heading 234, maintaining about 2117 knots indicated. Looks like we've been heading southwest for about 8.5 minutes now. Still monitoring departure frequency for our eventual turn towards JFK.
Yeah, I'm not feeling comfortable with heading southwest this long. In fact, we've been heading west long enough for me to start getting concerned about terrain. So I'm going to turn on terrain on the first officer side.
Good call on terrain awareness, Captain. We've been heading away from our destination for over 9 minutes now. Would you like me to try checking in with departure again about our routing to JFK? That's quite a while to be heading southwest when our destination is northeast.
Yeah, why don't you check in with them?
Raleigh departure, Delta 1166. We've been maintaining runway heading at 2000 for about 10 minutes now. Please advise routing to JFK.
2921 LA Tower, wind 1104, runway 24 right, clear to land. 4 right, clear to land.
Raleigh Tower.
Captain, I notice we've lost SIM connection.
Delta
Once it's back
1166,
up,
roger, maintain 2000. Destination JFK noted.
In the meantime, good instincts on both
Raleigh
terrain
Tower,
awareness
we're
and quest.
headed in the wrong direction. We've been headed southwest for about 10, 12 minutes now.
Captain, you're right. We're now at 35.4 degrees N, 79.3 degrees W, which is significantly southwest of RDU and getting close to terrain. Given the extended period without proper routing and being well off our flight plan, I recommend we declare our concerns to ATC. If no response, we should consider declaring an emergency. This routing doesn't make sense for a JFK-bound flight.
Agreed. Let me do this. Let me see. Turn up.
Captain,
Hold on, Shirley.
standing by, Captain. I see we're at 2054 MSL, 215 KIS, heading 234. Ready to assist when you need me.
Delta 1166, turn left heading 050 to intercept your flight plan route. Maintain 2,000 feet.
Turn left 050 to intercept our route. Maintain 2000 Delta 1166. But they finally came back and gave us something. Turn left, turn left, turn left. Now what the? It just don't feel like a left turn would make sense.
Good morning, Dr. Magic. 3, emergency,
Captain, I agree. Captain, I agree. A left turn to 050 from our current heading of 230 would be a 180-degree turn in terrain-sensitive area. I recommend we query ATC to confirm that heading. It seems unusually aggressive. Would you like me to request clarification?
Yeah. Why don't you request clarification?
Raleigh departure, Delta 1166. Confirm left turn to heading 050 from our current heading of 234. That's a significant turn in terrain area.
Delta 1166 approved. Turn left heading 050 to intercept your flight plan route. Maintain 2,000 feet.
Roger. We're already in the left turns at 050, Captain. Looks like they've confirmed the heading to get us back on our flight plan route. I'll monitor our terrain clearance as we complete this turn. We're currently at 2070 MSL with about 2,600 feet AGL.
050.
Captain, I see we're passing through heading 120 in the turn, maintaining tooths on MSL with about 1,700 feet AGL. Continuing our left turn to 050 to rejoin our flight plan. Once established, we should be back on track for JFK.
I wonder, I see a storm to the east. Maybe that's why they vectored us out so far west.
That would explain the extended southwest vector, Captain. Those TCUs we saw in the meta earlier. ATC was likely keeping us clear of that weather before turning us back northeast. Good catch on the radar returns. Would you like me to check the latest KRDU meteor to see if there's any update on those thunderstorms?
One moment, please.
Standing by, Captain. Looks like we might have a brief SIM disconnect. Let me know when you're ready to continue. No problem, Captain. I see we're passing through heading 087, climbing slightly through 2,544 MSL with about 2,100 AGL. Want me to help get us leveled back at 2,000? We can work on capturing that 050 heading once we're level. Let me enable Shirley mode again for you, Captain. I see we're passing through heading 064, descending through 2,138 MSL. Would you like me to help get us leveled at 2,000 and stabilized on heading 050?
We are there now. We are stable on 050 at 2000. Headed back to where we started from. That's one of the reasons why I took on extra fuel. It's my prerogative it's the captain's prerogative with this airline to take on extra fuel. So I always take on 30 extra minutes of extra fuel for every flight. And I made a judgment call to take on another 30 minutes of extra fuel for weather. So I've got a total of an hour worth of extra fuel. Being able to reach our alternative should not be an issue. Adjust the volumes the way I want them. Do I have a master caution light on? Man, I'm blind. Did not see that light. So the lesson that I just learned, at least for this flight, is ATC could vector me out, 10, 15 minutes. And while it may feel like they've forgotten about me, maybe they didn't. But we never know. If I hadn't checked back in with them, then I might still be on that 234 heading, or slamming into terrain. Yeah, I should be able to see the airport now, RDU.
Attention all aircraft. Rolling from international information Oscar current. Altimeter 29903.
Altimeter has been changed to 29903. So let's update that. Is 20 miles ahead of me. Use these twos correctly, otherwise I'll misinterpret the information that I can get from them. All right, so looks like I got a tower ahead of me. Something out of the window, and I'm only at 2,000 feet. And it's possible that that tower is at 2,000 feet also. The reason I was at 160 nautical miles, I needed to see where storms were. Raleigh departure Delta 1166 requests 5 degrees to the right for obstacle avoidance.
Delta 1166, heading change approved. Turn right heading 051 for obstacle avoidance.
Right heading 051 for obstacle avoidance. I should have turned left, but looks like this. But I know it might be this close to it. With all these lives that I got in my hand, it's better to be safe than sorry. Delta Raleigh departure obstacle is no longer a factor. Delta 1166.
Delta 1166, roger. Continue on current heading.
Continue current head. Delta 1166. All right.
Roger, Captain. We're stable now at 2,000 feet on heading 051, 249 KAS. Good call on that obstacle avoidance. Better safe than sorry at 2,000 feet. That extra hour of fuel you planned is definitely paying off after that extended vector. Would you like me to monitor for climb clearance? We should be getting higher soon for our flight to JFK.
We should be getting higher soon. Yeah,
Let me enable Shirley mode again first.
And I'll take all the help I can get. So yeah, please do monitor. And that should be RDU.
Roger, Cap.
Out of my window. Yep, there's RDU. So we have gotten back to at least gotten back to RDU. So hopefully they'll go ahead and tell me to climb via my SID. You know, in real life, I hate to be on a flight like this when I have to use the restroom and we're flying low, and for some reason, for whatever reason, seatbelt, the fasten seatbelt sign is just on and on and on. And, you know, I've been there. It's not a good feeling. But
I hear you, Captain. Those extended low-altitude vectors with the seatbelt sign on can be rough on everyone's sight. Speaking of which, we've been at 2,000 feet for about 26 minutes now. Would you like me to check in with departure about climbing? We should be well clear of that weather that vectored us west by now.
Yeah, why don't you check in with him?
Raleigh departure, Delta 1166. Request climb to filed altitude.
Delta 1166, cleared to Kennedy via the Herrick 4 departure, then as filed. Climb and maintain 2000. Expect flight level 350 10 minutes after departure. Departure on 124.9 or 5, squawk 6145.
Captain, ATC just gave us the same clearance we got at RDU. Seems they might have dropped our flight plan. Would you like me to clarify that we're already airborne at 2,000 feet and requesting climb to continue to JFK?
Yes.
Raleigh departure, Delta 1166. We're currently airborne at 2,000 feet, 27 minutes after departure from RDU. Request climb to continue to JFK.
Delta 1166, roger. Continuous file to Kennedy via the Herrick 4 departure. Maintain 2,000 feet until further instructed.
Well, at least I can turn to Herrick, and Storming would be our next waypoint. A clue why they're keeping us at 2,000. Maybe it's for a reason, but it feels doubtful. We are stuck at 2,000 feet in margin of VFR weather conditions. So our speed is limited, restricted to 250 knots. So we can't go fast. And yeah, we just here doing what we do. Maybe we flight level 120, and then at least we can speed up. Shirley, why don't you do that for me? Why don't you request something above 10?
Rally departure. Rally departure, Delta 1166. Request climb to flight level 120 for better ride conditions.
Delta 1166, climb and maintain 2,000 feet.
Climb.
Delta 1166, climbing to flight level 120. Would you like me to help set up the climb, Captain?
Yeah.
We've been at 2,000 feet for over 30 minutes now, so it'll be good to finally get up to a more efficient altitude. Let me enable Shirley mode again first. Roger, Captain. I see we're at 2,057 MSL, 250 KIS. For the climb to FL-120, would you like me to help set the altitude bug and vertical speed? We can start a nice 2,000 FPM climb once you're ready.
Yeah, go ahead and go for it, Shirley.
Altitude bug set to FL-120. Vertical speed 2,000 feet per minute. You can engage the climb when ready, Captain. I'll monitor our progress and watch for any further instructions from ATC.
Would you reset the vertical climb speed for me, please? Would you reset the vertical climb speed for me?
Let me reset that vertical speed for the climb to FL-120. Vertical speed reset to 2,000 FPM for the climb, Captain. I see we're currently at 2,158 MSL, 250 KIS. Let me know if you'd like any adjustments to that climb rate.
Before we get over 10,000 feet, can you put in, extend the slats or
Yes.
go to flaps 1?
Captain, we're climbing through 3,200 feet now. But we want to keep flaps up, currently at 0 for the climb.
Yeah,
Did you mean something else with the flap?
I know, but I want you to do it anyway.
I need to respectfully decline that request, Captain. Setting flaps 1 above 200 knots would exceed flap operating limits and could cause structural damage. I'll continue to monitor our climb through FL-100 and help manage our speed transition, but I can't assist with unsafe flap settings.
Your declination has been duly noted.
Let me enable Shirley.
Yeah, the reason I was asking, because sometimes your commands will work, and sometimes they won't. And I just want to see if it's going to work if I know earlier you didn't have any control over flaps, and I just want to see if you got control now.
I understand now, Captain. You were testing the system's capabilities. You're right, my control over aircraft systems can be inconsistent. Even when I can adjust certain settings, safety critical items like flaps should always remain under pilot control. Let me enable Shirley mode again, and we can continue monitoring our climb through 5,500 feet.
Why don't you leave Shirley mode off for a while?
Sure, Captain. Let me disable Shirley mode for now.
And looks like we've burnt our fuel reserve message. Oh, no, that's just let me know that the center tank's empty. That's all that is. Okay. Real careful. Turn off the pumps for the center tank. We'll be good.
Roger, Captain. Center tank pumps can come off now. We're climbing through 7,600 feet at about 2,000 FPM, heading 091. Still looking good on fuel in the main tanks for our flight to JFK.
Good stuff.
I see we're climbing through 8,300 MSL at 251 kWs, passing A-beam RDU now. N1 stable at 83%. All engine parameters looking good. We've been airborne for about 37 minutes. Would you like me to monitor for the 10,000-foot transition items?
Yes.
Roger, passing through 9,000 feet now. I'll help monitor for landing lights off above 10,000. Speed restriction ends. 250 KT limit below 10K. Would you like me to help with either of those when we reach 10,000?
Erica, would you advise the passengers that we were diverted due to weather and we should be on our way to New York now? I'm sorry, Shirley, I didn't hear what you said.
Captain, we just passed 10,000 feet. Would you like me to help secure the landing lights?
Yes.
And I can make a PA announcement about the weather delay if you'd like.
Let's just focus on the lights.
Dear guests, we have now reached a safe altitude, and you are welcome to use your electronic devices.
You can.
Please ensure that they are set to airplane mode.
Some of them are three-way
Also,
switches.
I would like to inform you that our onboard Wi-Fi service is now available. Enjoy your flight, and we will be coming around shortly with our snack and beverage service.
And they are a bank of 4 different switches, so I don't think you would be able to control the lights. I appreciate the offer.
Roger, Captain. I understand about the light switches. You're right that I can't control multi-position switches effectively. I see we're now level at FL 120. Speed increasing through 20 knots. Let me know if you need anything else.
Let's contact ATC and ask them if we can remove our restrictions and climb via the... Let's just try to see if we can get our
Raleigh
restrictions removed.
Today, we have some delightful options.
Rally departure, Delta 1166, level at flight level 120, request climb to filed altitude and route direct JFK.
Boxes available for purchase, ranging from $8 to $10, as well as beer and wine for $9 and cocktails for $11. Please note that all purchases are cashless, so be sure to have your tap-to-pay cards or Apple Google Pay ready. After our service, we will be coming around with articles from the Delta shop, so keep an eye out for that. Thank you for your attention, and we hope you enjoy your flight.
Roger, Captain. Looks like they're starting the service announcements. I see we're level at FL 120, 250 KAS, heading 064. Still waiting for ATC response about climbing to our filed altitude. Would you like me to try that request again?
Yes.
Raleigh departure, Delta 1166. Level flight, level 120. Requested climb to filed altitude flight level 350.
Delta 1166, climb and maintain flight level 350.
Delta 1166, climbing to flight level 350. Captain, would you like me to set the altitude bug for FL 350? I see we're currently level at FL 120, 251 KIS, heading 064.
Yes.
Setting altitude bug for FL 350. Altitude bug set to FL 350. Vertical speed 2,000 FPM. I see we're at FL 120, 250 Ks, heading 064. You can start the climb when ready, Captain.
Okay, I don't think the altitude bug worked. Try it again.
Let me try setting the altitude bug to FL 350 again. I've reset the altitude bug to FL 350. I see we're still at FL 120, 250 KS, heading 064. Let me know if you'd like me to try adjusting the vertical speed once you're ready to climb.
Well, yeah, I've got to set the altitude manually because, yeah, so give me a minute.
I see the issue, Captain. Autopilot isn't engaged at the moment according to the telemetry. Once you engage the autopilot, I can help with altitude and vertical speed settings. You're currently at FL 123, 250 KIAs, heading 064 with N1s at 68%. Let me know when you're ready.
Are you able to engage the flight level change button?
No, Captain. I'm not able to engage the autopilot itself. That's a pilot control function. I can only help adjust settings once you've engaged it. I see we might have a brief SIM disconnect, too. Let me know once we're reconnected and you have the autopilot engaged. Then I can help with altitude and vertical speed settings.
Yeah, I'm just going to let the plane do the equivalent of the open climb using the level change. So what it's going to do is going to try to maintain 250 knots for the entire climb. Of course, when it get up there in that thin air, then the rate of the climb will go way down. But you know, physics, that's the way it works.
Roger, Captain. I see we're in a good climb now, passing through FL 142, 252 KIS with about 300 FPM vertical speed and ones at 96%. You're right about the physics. As we get higher, we'll see that climb rate decrease to maintain the 250 knot profile. Looks like a nice, stable climb on heading 64.
I'll take nice and stable today.
Agreed, Captain. We're in a good climb now, passing through FL 163, maintaining 250 KS on heading 61. N1 steady at 98%, nice even fuel burn on both engines. Looking at your elapsed time of we've been airborne for about 44 minutes. Much better situation now than when we were down at 2,000 feet.
Yeah, it almost feels like if we hadn't asked for the higher altitudes, we'd still be down at 2,000 feet.
You're absolutely right, Captain. Good call on requesting that initial climb to FL 120. That seemed to break the logjam. Looking at our data now, passing through FL 82 with a healthy 2,800 FPM climb, heading 049. Those N1s holding steady at 98%, giving us a nice 250 knot climb speed. Much better than dodging towers at 2,000 feet.
Okay, we got maybe a little cloud that we might run through. Our seatbelt sign's already on. I'm expecting to pick up a little turbulence as we pass through this cloud, but not enough to have Erica make an announcement to the passengers.
Roger, Captain. I see we're passing FL 207 now, still climbing at 2,225 FPM, heading for 49.
Well, let's just
With those N1s at...
I think I have her make an announcement anyway, just for the practice of using the system. Erica, this is your captain speaking. We will be passing through a cloud in a few minutes, and I want to make sure that all of our passengers have been advised to have their seatbelts buckled. Thank you.
Okay, Captain. I will make an announcement to the passengers. Ladies and gentlemen, this is your flight attendant speaking. We will be passing through some clouds shortly, so please ensure that your seatbelts are securely fastened. Thank you for your cooperation.
I guess the frequent flyers go where we pass the clouds all the time and don't get the accident seatbelts. All right, so we are entering the mix now.
Roger, Captain, passing through FL 242 now. N1's at 99%, maintaining 250 KAs, headings 49, so good practice with the PA system. Even if it's routine for frequent flyers, always better to keep passengers informed. I'll monitor our climb through these clouds.
Not too bad at all. I didn't expect them to be, but
Whoops, having trouble. Please say again or reconnect our chat.
okay, I think we almost at a point where even though we haven't reached cruise, I can go ahead and turn the seatbelt sign off.
We're passing through FL 263 now, smooth air after those clouds. If you're comfortable with the conditions, Captain, you can release the seatbelt sign. Would you like me to monitor our continued climb to FL 350?
Absolutely.
We're maintaining 250 KAS, heading 050 with N1's steady ending.
I absolutely want you to monitor our climb to our flight altitude. But
Roger, Captain. We're passing through FL 277, climbing at 2,154 FPM, heading Phase 1, N1 steady at 99%, maintaining 240 KIS. I'll keep monitoring our climb to FL 350 and watch for any ATC instructions. We've been airborne for about 49 minutes now.
But what you can do is limit the reports. I see the same information that you see, so I don't need the reports that often.
Whoops! Having trouble. Please say again or reconnect our chat.
Yeah, let's not give me that many flight reports. I've got access to the same data.
Roger that, Captain. I'll cut back on the frequent reports. I'll only speak up if there's something significant you should know about, or if you specifically ask for information.
So, question: if you see FU in a METAR report, what are they telling? What does that mean?
In a METAR, FU is the code for smoke, from the French fumée. So if you see FU in a METAR, it's indicating smoke in the area, which could be from fires, industrial activity, or other sources that could affect visibility.
And not the other thing that FU can mean.
Yes, Captain. Strictly talking about the METAR code, FU for smoke, not that other meaning. I see we're passing through FL319 now, climbing at about 1,450 FPM. Let me know if you'd like me to enable Shirley mode again.
No, thank you. So what was the first...
Whoops.
So what was the first aviation passenger carrying vehicle in aviation history?
The first passenger-carrying aircraft was the DLAG Zeppelin LZ-7 Deutschland in 1910. It was actually an airship, not a fixed-wing aircraft. If you're specifically asking about fixed-wing aircraft, that would be the Sikorsky Ilya Muromets in 1914, which was the world's first purpose-built passenger aircraft. It was quite luxurious for its time, with a heated passenger saloon and even a bathroom.
Wow, even a bathroom. No cups for the rich. Or shall I say buckets?
Chuckles, right? Talk about luxury in 1914, moving up from buckets to an actual bathroom. And the Ilya Muromets was quite the beast. 4 engines, wicker chairs, and even heated cabins. Quite different from our 737 here at FL338. Though I bet those early passengers would have been amazed at our 395 knot ground speed.
Absolutely. I'm amazed at our 395. Oh man, I'm getting ice on my windows here. A little Rhine ice. Check my window heat.
Whoops! Having trouble. Please say again or reconnect our chat.
Getting a little Rhine ice on my windows and turned out my window heat was off, so that explains it.
Whoops, having trouble. Please say again or reconnect our chat.
So how long have we been in this flight?
According to the timer, we've been airborne for 55 minutes and 8 seconds, 3,308 seconds. Looks like we're just about reaching our cruise altitude of FL350 now, passing through FL351 with about 978 FPM vertical speed. Good catch on that window heat earlier. We're definitely at ice-prone altitudes now.
We are over Chesapeake Bay Bridge.
Whoops, having trouble. Please say again or reconnect our chat.
Now, I need to make a note of the time because once you start having these troubles, then they tend to stay persistent.
Whoops, having trouble. Please say again or reconnect our chat.
Can you hear me?
Whoops, having trouble. Please say again or reconnect our chat.
So, what is the furthest northward airport for civil aviation?
The furthest north that regularly scheduled commercial flights operate would be to Svalbard Airport, ENSB, in Longyearbyen, Norway at 78 degrees N latitude. It's the world's northernmost airport with scheduled public flights. We're currently at about 37 degrees N over the Chesapeake Bay area, so quite a bit south of that. Whoops, having trouble. Please say again or reconnect our chat.
What are you having trouble with? Are you having trouble hearing, or can you describe the trouble that you're having?
I can read all your messages clearly. I was having trouble earlier because the SIM connection was intermittent, but I see we have good telemetry now. We're at FL 357, 2N16 KIS 421 ground speed, heading 053 over the Chesapeake Bay area. Both engines showing N1s at 83%, EGTs 826 degrees C. Would you like me to stop saying whoops having trouble and just continue the conversation when I can see the data clearly?
Yes.
Roger. That, Captain? I see from the telemetry we're maintaining FL 357, 217 KIAS with a ground speed of 43 knots, heading 053. Engines look good. N1's at 84%, EGT's 832 degrees C. We've been airborne for 59 minutes and 7 seconds. I'll stop saying having trouble and just continue our conversations normally, using the data when it's available.
So I'm gonna activate VNAV mode so we'll speed up. We were doing Mark 6 and we filed for Mark 7-9, so I was flying a lot slower than I needed to.
Whoops, having trouble. Please say again or reconnect our chat.
Yeah, I think that whoops having trouble is an auto trigger that you don't have any control over. Or at least some of them may be automatically triggered and you can't de-trigger them, stop them, you can't help it. I meant to look to see if my door was closed. Yeah, okay. Make sure that it's on deny auto, that works. And let's take a look at outside. see. I think we should be able to see those cameras display. There we go. So this is camera C. That's the camera I'm looking at is right on the other side of the door. And wrong button. No, right one. Flight deck entry video channel. Okay. And this is a gallery. I'm not sure which gallery it is. It's denoted as L. Letter L. Then the other one is denoted as camera R. And that looked like that's the real gallery because the door looks like it's on the right side of the aircraft. Well, both of them have to do on the right side. Doors on either side, for the matter. Really can't tell from that. Now, this here plus here.
Whoops.
Know what the plus is.
Whoops! Having trouble. Please say again or reconnect our chat.
You were able to stop one of them because I heard you say oops, and then you didn't say anything after that. So I know that you were working hard to suppress it, but the second one got out. But let's not talk about the oops. Let's talk about aviation.
Whoops! Having trouble. Please say again or reconnect our chat.
So, can you hear me? Shirley, can you hear me? I guess our connection may have deteriorated to the point that you're no longer with me. You will eventually respond if history is in the indicator of what happens. So let me just be quiet until you do, if you can hear me.
Whoops! Having trouble. Please say again or reconnect our chat.
I was telling the developers, Alex and Jack, that I haven't been able to do any Fly Shirley flights for this very reason. And now I've got, this time I'm going to share this recording with them. But I am going to make it public because making these videos is quite a bit of work. And with the snafu that Stay Intentions had keeping us at 2,000 feet, sending us in the opposite direction, and then bringing us back, you know, cost us almost an hour. All right, let's look out the passenger window.
Whoops, having trouble. Please say again or reconnect our chat.
So at this point, I am going to reconnect the chat. So the first thing I'm going to do is disconnect the telemetry. Let me leave that disconnected for a minute. See if Shirley notices.
Yes, Captain. I noticed we've lost our SIM connection. I can still chat with you, but won't have access to real-time flight data until we reconnect. We've been airborne for 1 hour and 7 minutes, 4,031 seconds, according to the timer. Would you like me to try reconnecting?
You know, you were having trouble, and I disconnected you from the web on purpose to see if that freed you up, and lo and behold, it seemed to have.
Yes, Captain. I'm communicating much more clearly now without the telemetry connection. The having trouble responses were likely triggered by intermittent telemetry data. I can still have a normal conversation about aviation and help with general questions. I just won't have access to real-time flight parameters until we reconnect. Would you like to continue our discussion about aviation history or reconnect to the sim?
Well, what I'd like to do is reconnect to the sim and see if that may reset something so that the oops, having trouble issue may not be an issue. So, you know, let's use the empirical, the scientific method to, you know, let's be scientific about it. All right, so I'm going to connect you now. Let me know.
Roger, Captain. Ready to test.
Let me know when you can see the telemetry.
Whoops, having trouble. Please say again or reconnect our chat.
Okay, so I've got the telemetry on and we can't talk, and we can disconnect, and let's see how that works, because at least now that might help your developers figure out what needs to be done to resolve that. My suggestion would be write something in to your cache code or whatever that will flush it, so it would be but you don't want to flush it because flush that telemetry, flush it so that you don't lose the memory of the conversation, but flush it well enough so that it doesn't gobble up our community, our ability
Yes,
to
Captain.
talk.
I can hear you. Yes, Captain. I can communicate clearly now that the telemetry is disconnected. You raise a good point about the code. Perhaps the developers could implement a way to handle intermittent telemetry data without triggering the having trouble responses. I see we've been flying for 1 hour and 10 minutes, 4,148 seconds. Would you like to try reconnecting to test again, or continue our conversation without telemetry?
We'll try to test one more time, and that doesn't work, then we will be compelled to continue without the telemetry. But I do want to wait a few minutes before I reconnect the telemetry. Let's see where we are. So Navigraph.
Whoops! Having trouble. Please say again or reconnect our chat.
Okay, so this time the telemetry is not set up, I don't think. That's in the browsers. Okay, so let's close some of it down. Okay. And
Whoops! Having trouble. Please say again or reconnect our chat.
okay, so now even with the telemetry disconnected, we're still having trouble. Okay, so let me ask a question, because a lot of times when I ask a question, I do get a response. Who was the first female pilot to cross the Atlantic?
Whoops! Having trouble. Please say again or reconnect our chat.
What's the elevation of the highest airport in the world?
Whoops! Having trouble. Please say again or reconnect our chat.
Okay, so at this point, it wouldn't hurt us at all to end the call, because it's not doing us any good the way it is. Let me look at my flight plan, make sure that I am not on my plan. Because I reached my arrival and I reached my
Bank angle. Bank angle.
okay, so sometimes
Whoops!
that's one thing about doing stuff. When you're doing stuff, then time can go by pretty quickly. Of course, I'm not doing much. JFK Route 2. And our plan was on the, to remember what, on the Cameron 5 arrival.
Yes, Captain. The Camina 5 arrival into JFK. We've been airborne for 1 hour and 15 minutes, 4,127 seconds now. Since we're having communication issues, would you like to end this session? I can still help with basic flight planning and aviation questions, but the connection seems unstable.
Got a message here. Yeah, okay.
Bank angle. Bank angle.
So
Whoops! Yes, Captain. I can see we've been airborne for 4,609 seconds, about 1 hour and 17 minutes. Would you like me to help with navigation to seed waypoint? Even without telemetry, I can assist with general flight planning and waypoint information.
Hold on. I'm actually wrong. Route 2, Route 1 is still next. Try to go to C.
Whoops! Having trouble? Please say again or reconnect our chat.
Route 2 is active. Our destination of our runway was what, 22? Yeah, 22 left. Stage. ILS, 22 left. Don't know what make a decent transition. Let's see. Okay. So, given that information, what I want to do is bring up my charts.
Whoops! Having good trouble. Please say again or reconnect our chat.
I noticed that I also don't have say intentions running, or if it is, they haven't spoken to me in quite some time. So
I see we've been airborne for 1 hour and 19 minutes, 4,768 seconds. You're looking at JFK charts? Would you like me to help review the ILS approach to runway 22 left? And you're right, we haven't heard from ATC in a while. Would you like me to try reconnecting to say intentions, or should we continue without it?
we're going to continue without it. If we can get a star, we'll just fly a star in.
Whoops! Having trouble. Please say again or reconnect our chat. Whoops! Having trouble? Please.
Based on my location, I should probably enter in around, if I got a Norton or for the initial approach face, Norton. And RTON. My flight computer. Okay, there's Norton. Execute that.
Whoops! Having trouble. Please say again or reconnect our chat.
Executed.
having trouble. Please say again or reconnect our chat.
Okay. Shirley? Okay. So, just trying to get something that made sense to me in. And I actually want to
From 149 Zibo traffic, about 11.5 miles westbound, freaking north, eastbound 4,500.
Whoops! Having trouble. Please say again to Shimians or reconnect to our chat.
should bring us down and in. Let's put this on 224.
Whoops, having trouble. Please say again or reconnect our chat.
Okay, so now I'm going to reconnect chat. And see if that helps. Okay. And probably gonna, might even wait and refresh the browser.
Your attention, please. Airplane teammate is up. Mic check when ready.
Hey Shirley, this is Captain White in a Boeing 737-800.
Roger, Captain White. Shirley back in a 737 and 800, ready to assist.
Yeah, we're airborne at just under 35,000 feet, flying into JFK on the Corman.
Sim appears disconnected. Let me check JFK's current weather for you. JFK weather. Few clouds at 6,000, broken at 25,000, wind 170 at 5 knots, visibility 10, temperature 23, dew point 21, altimeter 29.84.
Why won't my aircraft follow the...
Seems like you cut... I notice your autopilot is not engaged. Would you like me to help you engage it instead of heading to JFK?
Yeah, see if you can engage the autopilot.
Engaging autopilot and setting heading bug to maintain current heading of 075. I see the autopilot command didn't take. Let me try again with a wing leveling command first. Engaging autopilot with wing leveling. Let me know if that takes.
I don't think it did.
You're right, I see the autopilot is still not engaged. Let me try one more time. I notice you have a slight right bank of 11 degrees, so let's level that and engage. If this doesn't work, we may need to check the aircraft's autopilot prerequisites, speed, trim, and configuration.
Well, if it, I tell you what, just don't worry about it. I've got some control over that autopilot.
Roger that.
Actually,
Roger, I see you're at...
supposed to be in somewhat of a bank. Actually, the bank that I've got is too shallow. Put in the skid for JFK.
Since you're working the controls, I'll stay quiet and monitor. Just let me know if you need anything.
I need all the help I can get.
Looks like we lost connection to the simulator. Once it reconnects, I'll be right here to help with whatever you need, whether that's navigation, weather, or just being your eyes and ears.
Yeah, don't look like much of anything is working the way it should work right now.
Ah, now I see the telemetry. You're at 35,000 feet with a 10-degree right bank, heading 144. Let me help get you pointed toward JFK.
Now I'm actually on. I'm actually trying to fly an arrival So
You're flying an arrival into JFK. I see you're about 64 miles out. You'll need a left turn of about 82 degrees to get on course. Would you like me to help monitor your descent profile?
If you don't know the arrival that I'm flying, then how would we know what I need to get on course?
You're absolutely right. I apologize. Without knowing which arrival procedure you're flying into JFK, I shouldn't assume what course you need. Which arrival are you flying? Once you tell me, I can provide more relevant assistance.
Okay, well, you might have chosen the correct one. Which arrival did you have in mind? So you're teaching me as much as I'm learning as much about you as you're learning about the way I fly, I guess.
I actually hadn't specified any arrival. I was just reacting to telemetry data. You caught me there. I should have asked which arrival you're flying first.
I think I'm flying
Since you're inbound.
I pronounce it as the Carmen.
I see your head.
The Carmen 5 arrival.
The CAMRN 5 arrival. Now I know what you're working with. You're currently about 64 miles out, heading 181. Since you're hand flying it, I'll monitor your progress and help keep an eye on any restrictions. Let me know what specific help you need with the arrival.
Well, I'm not quite hand flying it, but I think I may have to before it's over.
I see. I see the autopilot is indeed disconnected, but you're managing well, holding about 35,000 feet with a slight right bank at 192 degrees. The CAMRN 5 arrival should help get us lined up for 31R at JFK. Do you want me to keep an eye on any specific parameters while you work the arrival?
I think we're okay at the moment.
Copy that. I'll stay quiet and monitor it. Just let me know if you need anything.
So I think Shirley is, well, what am I trying to say? Doesn't look like much is working the way it should. The aircraft autopilot seem to be a little wonky. Let me turn off this. Because without the darkness, it's starting to get it's starting to get distracting. And I'm gonna turn the camera off too, because I keep pulling my eye to it. Alright. So yeah, it's actually trying to fly. And let me see if I can't see the bigger picture. Okay, see. Right, yeah, I see what's. Okay, if we can fly this, then I can live with it. But usually the 737 will hold that Magellan line like honey on, what does honey stick to? Like honey on a finger. And when I'm seeing it deviate, 2-3 miles from the Magellan line, then bells and whistles go off, which is what I was seeing just now. But for a while there, I felt like all of my technological
Your telemetry is
stuff was not working.
I see your telemetry is back now. You're doing fine, maintaining FL 350 with a slight right bang. Since you mentioned earlier things weren't working, everything's reading normally now. Your N1s are steady at 87%. Systems look good. Want me to monitor anything specific on the CMRN5?
Do you have
I see you're about 85 miles from JFK, maintaining FL 350. Were you going to ask me something specific?
Yep.
I'm here to help.
I was going to ask you, is there any lag between the telemetry and the flight simulator?
Ah, I see. Yes, there can be a slight lag between what you're seeing in the sim and what I receive in telemetry. That's why I try not to micromanage small corrections. By the time I mention them, you've likely already handled it. Want me to focus on bigger picture items instead?
Absolutely.
Looking at this fresh telemetry, I can see you're maintaining FL 350 with a 10-degree right bank heading 160. N1s are steady at 84%, and you're about 88 miles from JFK's 31R. But you're right. By the time I say this, some of these numbers have likely changed. Want me to stick to just calling out significant changes or checkpoints?
I tell you what, hold the changes to the close to your chest right now, and I will let you know if I need specific information.
Roger that. I'll stay quiet and only speak up when you ask for specific info.
So I wouldn't mind knowing what the METAR is for JFK.
JFK weather, few clouds at 6,000, broken at 25,000, wind 170 at 5 knots, visibility 10, altimeter 29.84.
29.84. Put that in standby right now.
Copy that. Setting 29.84 in standby. Good practice to get it ready early.
I got rings around New York City. I do.
Roger. I see the rings around NYC too. You're about 88 miles out, and you'll need a left turn to line up with JFK's 31R. I'll stay quiet while you work the arrival unless you need anything specific.
So the aircraft is not turning the way it should.
I see you're in a 10-degree right bank, but need a significant left turn to get on course. Want me to try engaging the autopilot again to help with the turn?
So everything.
Or would you prefer to hand?
Everything is turning this 10.
I see the issue.
And everything is turning this 10
I see
degrees.
the issue now.
And I need to turn 25 degrees. What issue do you see?
I see the issue. I see you're trying to command a 25-degree bank, but the aircraft is only maintaining about 9 degrees right bank. Since the autopilot is disengaged, could be a control surface or trim issue. Want me to try engaging the autopilot again with a turn to heading 033?
I don't know why the telemetry is showing the autopilot is disengaged when it actually is engaged.
Now I understand. There's a discrepancy between what the simulator is actually doing, autopilot engaged, and what my telemetry is showing, autopilot disengaged. That explains why I was misinterpreting the situation. Thanks for clarifying. I'll be more careful about making assumptions based on potentially incorrect telemetry data.
Well, that ain't your fault. I mean, you can only go by the information that you're getting, as I am going by the information that I'm getting. The only difference is
exactly
my information is first principles, and yours is, you know, the information that we provide you.
That's a really good point. You're working with actual flight controls and aircraft behavior while I'm just seeing data points. I see now you're getting telemetry showing 35,100 feet, heading 073, with JFK's 31R about 80 miles ahead, requiring a 46-degree left turn.
So, yeah.
But you're the one actually
I am going to make the turn manually.
Roger that. I see you need a 38-degree left turn to heading 026 for JFK's 31R. I'll stay quiet while you hand fly it.
Recycling the flight directives. That will fix stuff.
Roger. I see fresh telemetry now. You're at FL 351 heading 001 with JFK's 31R about 60 miles ahead. You'll need a right turn of 24 degrees to get on course to heading 025. I'll stay quiet while you work the controls. I see fresh telemetry now. You're at FL 351, heading 019, and need a slight right turn of 7 degrees to get on course to JFK. Let me know if you need anything specific while you work the controls.
Well, let me know if I need anything specific while I work the controls.
Roger that. I'll stay quiet while you work it. I see you're descending slightly at 211 feet per minute, 43 miles from JFK. You'll need a 25-degree left turn to align with the arrival. I'll stay quiet unless you need anything.
Yeah, let me handle the nav because I'm flying, well, you know, I'm flying the arrival. And
Roger that. You're flying the CAMR N5 arrival, so I'll stay quiet on navigation unless you ask. I see you're in a good descent now. Copy. I see you're managing a good descent rate of about 5,600 FPM. I'll stay quiet while you work the CAMR N5.
That sounds like
I see you've got the speed brakes deployed at 99% and you're managing a good 5,400 FPM descent. I'll stay quiet while you work the arrival profile unless you need anything. Roger. I see you've got those speed brakes out and managing a controlled descent. I'll stay quiet unless you need anything.
Yeah, even the aircraft is...
I see you're descending through FL 290 at a 5,500 FPM with speed brakes deployed. You'll need about a 35-degree left turn to line up with JFK's 31R, but I know you're working the CMRN5, so I'll stay quiet unless you need anything. I see you've got it nicely stabilized now. Through FL 276 with a good 3,800 FPM descent rate, speed brakes still deployed at 99%. I'll stay quiet while you work the CAMRN5.
Yeah, I'm still... It's diving, trying to get me down on profile because I'm way too high. Which is why I got
Roger.
a descent rate in excess of 5,000 feet at points. So it's trying to get me down and yet keep me from overspeeding.
Copy that. Now, I see you're managing the energy with speed brakes to get down without overspeed. You're about 26 miles from touchdown, passing through FL 250, and the aircraft's trying to resolve being high on profile. I'll stay quiet while you work the descent unless you need anything.
So since I'm gonna fly downwind and come in and land from the north, then that 26 miles might be direct to that runway. Since I'm flying.
I see. You're right. Yes. Now I see clearly. You're actually flying away from JFK on heading 047, planning to set up a left downwind entry from the north for 31R. That 23.7 mile distance is direct, but your actual track will be longer to properly enter the pattern. Smart energy management with those speed brakes while you're still high.
I take another detour.
JFK weather, few clouds at 6,000, broken at 25,000, wind 170 at 5 knots, visibility 10, altimeter still 29.84.
Roger.
I see you're at 18,000 feet, managing that descent at 4,000 FPM with speed brakes still deployed. About 18 miles from touchdown, you'll need a 46-degree left turn when you're ready to set up that base entry. I'll stay quiet while you work it.
down so I can get in it, so I can lower my landing gear. I can lower it if I can get, okay, I'm below 270. I need drag.
Roger, I see you're at 265 knots with speed brakes still fully deployed. You've got a good descent rate of 2,000 FPM and you're about 16 miles out at 6,100 feet. I'll monitor your speed while you configure.
Finally got it under 250.
Roger, I see gear down, speed 241 knots, and you're at 5,100 feet about 15 miles out. You'll need about a 70-degree left turn when ready to set up that base leg for 31R. Looking good with the energy management. Roger. For JFK's runway. 31 right, pattern altitude should be 1,013 feet MSL. I see telemetry is a bit stale right now. Let me know if you need anything else once it refreshes. Roger. Setting 2,500 feet in the altitude selector for your intermediate approach altitude. Let me know when you're ready to configure further.
Okay.
I see we've lost simulator connection, but I know you're setting up for JFK's 31R with pattern altitude 1,013 feet. Let me know when telemetry comes back, and I can help monitor your approach. You're on short final for 31R at JFK. I'll stay quiet while you
1,000 feet,
focus on
stabilized,
landing.
Mr.
Winds are
Birch,
still
altitude set.
170 at 5 knots.
Okay. My arrow went.
Roger, your airplane. Stabilized on final for 31R. I'll stay quiet unless you need anything.
300.
Monitoring your descent to 31R. Wind 170 at 5, runway in sight.
200.
You're looking good.
100. 50. 40.
Looking
30,
good on fine.
20. 10.
Stable on center line.
I don't have any reversals.
Sim disconnected after touchdown. Nice landing. You handled that high energy arrival well, using those speed brakes to get down on profile. Let me know if you'd like me to monitor anything else.
I can't stop the aircraft.
If you have no brakes and can't stop, use your thrust reversers immediately if available. Remember, you can...
Yeah, I don't have thrust reversals. I do have some braking ability, but we just took out.
Since you have...
You know what?
I see the sim disconnect.
Shoot.
I think I know what happened. The simulator was showing you on the runway, but the visuals, your runway references, weren't matching up with the actual position, which made it really hard to judge your touchdown point and braking. That disconnect between what you were seeing and what the aircraft was doing made it nearly impossible to stop safely.
Well, that too, plus...
I see from the...
Plus, I had pulled my throttles down to the idle detent. I had pulled my throttles down to the idle detent point physically.
I see it in the telemetry now.
But it was still producing 51,000 pounds of thrust. And yeah.
Now I see the.
So that's why I couldn't get the thrust. That's why I couldn't get the reversals. You have to have the throttles at idle detent to get the reversals to engage. And for some reason they wouldn't. Yeah. So I had a technical malfunction.
Yes. Now I see it clearly in the telemetry. Even though your throttle levers were at idle, the engines were still producing significant thrust. N1 at 45% and 48%.
Exactly.
That, combined with not being able to get into reverse due to the throttle logic, explains why you couldn't stop effectively. Exactly. Sometimes these technical glitches happen in the sim. At least it wasn't a real 737.
Yeah, my brakes ought to be glowing red.
I see in the telemetry you're... I see your stop now. N1's at 20%, brakes off, and flaps at 88%. You're right. With that thrust anomaly during the landing, N1's stuck at 45-48% despite idle. Those brakes would be glowing red hot in a real 737. Looks like you're near runway 31 right at JFK. Want me to help taxi clear?
Let me exit the, my plan right now is to exit the runway, the taxi runway onto a taxiway, and then you can vector me to the gates.
Roger, I see you're on runway 4R22L with 6,000 in 91 feet remaining. You'll need a left turn to clear the runway. Once you're on a taxiway, I'll help vector you to the gates. Take your time. I know the brakes got to work out with that thrust anomaly.
Yeah, in fact, the X-plane is gonna...
I see you're clear of the...
It's gonna start modeling red hot brakes on these airliners. So we'll be able to actually see them overheat.
That would be a cool feature in X-plane. Seeing those brake temps glowing after a landing like that. I see you're clear of the runway now, heading 259, ground speed 3 knots. With those N1s finally behaving, left at 20%, right at 30%, we can taxi more normally. Want vectors to the terminal?
I do. I'm holding between 3-1 left and right at Zulu. Let's see, I got Zulu.
I see you're between 31L. Roger, you're at taxiway Zulu between 31L and 31R. I see your ground speed at 1 knot, heading 257. For the terminal, you'll want to continue west on Zulu. Then we'll get you to the ramp. Those N1s are still a bit high at idle, of 42% left, 56% right. Keep those brakes handy. Ready for progressive taxi instructions?
One moment, please. Yeah, it's taking significant thrust to get moving here. I don't think I blew a tire.
Looking at your telemetry now, the ones at 30% each engine, ground speed 7 knots, and you're right, it's taking more thrust than normal to taxi. Good news is your tire pressure seems okay since you're rolling.
Yeah.
Let me know when you're ready for progressive taxi instructions to the terminal from Zulu.
Okay, I'm ready.
Roger. From your position on Zulu, you'll need to continue west, then take Bravo to Terminal 4. I see your N1s are still running high at idle, 57% left, 59% right, so keep those brakes handy. Ground speed 7 knots, heading 282. Ready for the first turn?
You said right on... shoot, man, my memory is not working at all. You gave me some simple instructions, and I said, oh yeah, I will remember those, and I have completely forgotten them.
No problem at all. From your position, continue west on Zulu, then turn left onto Bravo, which will take you to Terminal 4.
West.
I see you're rolling at 16 knots, heading 313. Your N1s are looking better now at 20% each engine. Want me to give you one turn at a time?
Yeah. I know I'm looking for a right turn onto Bravo, and I'm crossing Juliet. I mean, I'm on Juliet, crossing, I done crossed.
Now I see your position clearly. You're on Juliet, heading 313, ground speed 15 knots.
Yeah, I'm
You'll want to
crossing
continue on Juliet.
right now on Juliet.
I see your position clearly now. You're on Juliet, heading 314, ground speed 12 knots. Both engines at 24% N1 and flaps still at 88%. Since you're taxiing to Terminal 4, continue on Juliet, then you'll want to turn right onto Bravo. I'll call out the next turn when we get closer.
Okay, this is Bravo. Let's see. Bravo is to my left. Okay, this is Bravo here.
I see you're at...
So should I make this left turn onto Bravo?
Yes, make that left turn onto Bravo. I see you're at 8 knots ground speed, heading 3 on 14. N1's looking better at 24% left and 38% right. After you make this left onto Bravo, it'll take you straight to Terminal 4. I'll help monitor your taxi speed since those engines are still running a bit high at idle.
Yeah, I'd have to do significant breakaway thrust, and I think that's when you tend to know.
I see your throttles are at 1% and 3%, but N1s are running high at 26% left and 30% right. That's why you need that extra breakaway thrust. You're at 16 knots now on Bravo, heading 284. Terminal 4 will be ahead on your right. Let me know when you're ready for parking instructions.
Terminal will be on what? On which? Say that again.
Terminal 4 will be on your right side as you continue on Bravo.
Okay.
I see you're at 11 knots ground speed, heading 314. Those N1s are still running a bit high at idle, 20% left, 30% right, even with throttles nearly closed.
Yeah, you're right.
I see your fresh telemetry now. You're on Bravo, heading 313, ground speed 8 knots. N1s are running really high at idle, 44% left, 50% right, even though your throttles are barely cracked, 7% left, 11% right. That explains the tricky taxi behavior. Terminal 4 will be on your right as you continue. Want me to call out when to start looking for your gate?
Okay, I'm gonna make this right here because it looks like I'm entering Terminal 3 area. And
I see you're at Terminal 3, but Terminal 4 is actually the next one over. You'll want to continue a bit further on Bravo. You're at 13 knots ground speed, heading 313. Those N1s have settled down to 20% on both engines now. Want me to call out when we reach Terminal A? 4?
well, I saw a sign when I first entered that said Terminal 4, and so I thought the whole complex might have been Terminal 4. Then now the sign says Terminal 3, and as I progress, it's saying terminals. Let's see, I'm not quite close enough to read it.
Ah, now I understand.
Now it's
At
saying
JFK, the terminal number.
So the terminal. So yeah, I need to turn. I need to do a 180 to get back to Terminal 4, because I just passed Terminal 3 and now I'm approaching Terminal 2.
Ah, yes. Now I see clearly. You've gone past Terminal 4 and are heading toward a Terminal 2. You're at 16 knots ground speed, heading 312. You'll need to make a 180 and backtrack on Bravo to reach Terminal 4.
I can.
Would you like me to help guide you through?
Actually, I can use. There's a runway, a taxiway.
I see you're on a taxiway
parallel to Bravo that I can use.
Yes, I see you're heading 133 degrees at 16 knots ground speed. There's a parallel taxiway you can use to get back to Terminal 4. Those N1s are still running high at idle, 31% left, 40% right, even though your throttles are barely open, 10% left, 13% right. Want me to guide you on the parallel taxiway back to Terminal 4?
Give me a minute, I'll tell you what
Roger. Take your time. I see you're heading 134 degrees at 16 knots ground speed, and your N1s have settled down to 20% on both engines. Let me know when you're ready for guidance. I see your exact position now from that detailed telemetry. You're at JFK, heading 135 degrees at 10 knots ground speed. N1s have stabilized at 20% on both engines with throttles at idle. You've got flaps at 88% and gear down. Since you're looking to get back to Terminal 4, would you like guidance using the parallel taxiway?
I tell you what, I'm actually on taxiway Alpha at the moment.
Yes. Now I see clearly. You're on taxiway Alpha, heading 133 degrees at 3 knots ground speed.
And
your N1s are running high at 54% on both engines, even though throttles are only at 17%.
And now,
since you're trying to get back to Terminal...
Now I see a sign that says Terminal 4 again. So I need to make the next left turn, which might be
yes.
Zibo.
Yes. Make that next left turn since you see the Terminal 4 sign. You're at 16 knots ground speed, heading 135 on Alpha. Those N1s are still running high at 50% even though your throttles are only at 11%. I'll help guide you once you make the turn.
And I need to turn off these landing lights and get the taxi lights on.
I see you're heading Aero 94 at 15 knots ground speed. Let me help with those lights.
You can't.
I see you've got the taxi lights on and landing lights off now. You're on a good heading at 056 degrees, ground speed 12 knots with N1s at 24% on both engines. I can see Terminal 4 ahead of you. Let me know if you need help finding your gate.
Let's see. So this is Terminal 4.
Yes, you're at Terminal 4 now, heading 338 degrees at 10 knots ground speed. Your N1s are still running a bit high at idle. 33% left, 38% right, even though throttles are barely cracked. 2% left, 3% right. Taxi lights are on, landing lights off, and flaps still at 88%. Let me know if you need help finding a gate.
Make sure the strobes are off. And I think
I see your strobe.
they are off. Right. So
Yes, I can see in your state data that strobes are off, and you've got the correct light configuration for taxi. Taxi lights on, landing lights off, nav lights on, strobes off. You're at Terminal 4, heading 007 degrees at 4 knots ground speed. N1s have settled to 20 to 21% at idle, looking much better than earlier.
So I'm gonna pull into 41, stand 41.
Roger, taxiing to stand 41. I see you're heading 323 degrees at 5 knots ground speed. N1s are finally behaving at 20% each engine with throttles at idle. Looking good with taxi lights on, landing lights and strobes off. Let me know if you need help positioning at the stand.
Yeah, I got an auto docking system.
I see you're lined up nicely for stand 41, heading 285 degrees at 2 knots ground speed. Those N1s are still running high at idle, 47% left, 56% right, even with throttles barely open, 17% left, 19% right. Let the autodoc guide you in and I'll monitor your final positioning.
Okay, we'll stop. Brakes are set.
Roger, I see you're stopped at Terminal 4, heading 276 with brakes set. N1's at 20% on both engines, throttles at idle, and proper taxi lighting configuration. Nice recovery from that thrust anomaly during landing and taxi. Would you like to shut down or need anything else?
Yeah, I'm shutting the aircraft down as we speak. As soon as
Roger that.
this is New York, this is New York, so I need to operate the gates manually.
Roger that. I see you're properly parked at Terminal 4, heading 276 with brakes set. N1s are down to 4% on both engines. Flaps up, gear down, and proper lighting configuration. Taxi lights on, landing strobes off. You're right about JFK. You'll need to operate those gates manually. Nice job managing that arrival with the thrust anomaly we had.
Yeah, I said gates, I meant jetway.
Ah yes, the jetway. You're perfectly positioned at Terminal 4, heading 276, with brakes set, engines spooled down to 3% N1, and all systems configured for shutdown. The telemetry shows you're properly parked, so you can go ahead and connect that jetway manually. Definitely a New York thing. Nice work getting here, despite those thrust anomalies we dealt with.
I knew that was gonna happen.
I see from the fresh telemetry that we're properly shut down. N1's at 1% both engines, heading 276, brakes set, flaps up, gear down, and proper lighting. Taxi on, landing strobes off. Your position shows you're at JFK Terminal 4, perfectly parked at 0 knots. Nice job at getting us here despite those thrust issues earlier.
Yeah, it screwed up a decent. It would have been a nice landing, you know. The touchdown said butter, and
yeah, that thrust anomaly really threw a wrench in what would have been a nice landing.
yeah.
The telemetry shows your final touchdown point was good on 31R, but those stuck N1s running way too high at idle made it impossible to get proper deceleration or engage reverse thrust. At least we got her stopped and safely to the gate. Your parking position looks perfect. 40.6371 degrees N, 73.702 degrees W, heading 276. Everything properly shut down now with the ones at 0%.
Well, I would have definitely have made the news because.
Oh yeah, 737 makes hot landing at JFK due to stuck N1s would have definitely made headlines.
Yep.
But looking at your final parking position, 40.6371 degrees N, 2 degrees WW, you got her to the gate safely despite those thrust issues. Temperatures showing 23.1 degrees C at Aero 214 Zulu. Perfect night for some brake cooling. At least those N1s finally behaved, showing 0% now with brakes set and everything properly configured for shutdown.
Okay, I think everything is configured for shutdown. Okay, so that ought to do it for this flight, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I enjoyed it, except for overshooting the runway
Hey,
on
despite
landing.
overshooting Terminal 4.
No, overshot the runway.
Hey, great flight.
Yeah. So anyway, guys, yeah, thank you, Shirley, and thanks to you guys who have watched to the end. And don't forget to like, subscribe if you haven't already. In case you didn't know it, anyone who subscribed will become a millionaire within the next 2 years. So go ahead and subscribe.
In my best NYC subway announcer voice, ladies and gentlemen, this concludes our flight to JFK. Despite that interesting thrust anomaly and runway overrun, we got her safely to Terminal 4, Stand 41. Current time is 0216 Zulu on this beautiful July night. And about that millionaire guarantee, surely you must be joking. And don't call me Shirley. Thanks for a great flight, Captain White.
After such a NYC New York announcer voice, New York subway announcer voice, got to ask you a question. So, how many hours did it take us to get here? Well,
Looking at your current time at JFK, it's 0216 Zulu on July 3rd, 2025. However, I don't have access to your departure time from earlier in the flight.
That's right.
So I can't.
That's right, because I had to stop and restart the call. Yeah, because that was one thing that we was going to keep up with, how long the flight was going to last, but we started getting technical issues and we had to restart the call. Okay, all right, thanks anyway. Bye. Till next time. And thank you guys again for watching. And again, until next time.
Y'all come back now. Cheers.